SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar. It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute. That's right.
Hey folks, time for another In a Mississippi Minute. Steve Azar, grateful for you tuning in, grateful for my team at SuperTalk Mississippi. Into my 8th year, I cannot believe it. Excited about today's guest, by the way, because he's been around as long as those 8 years have been going, that's for sure. Working with him back in his days at Visit Mississippi, I learned a whole lot from him. I'm going to get to that in a second. Superior Catfish is homegrown and produced right here in Mississippi, just like our music. Go to superiorcatfish.com, unparalleled to the rest of the world. That's how they roll over and make it in Mississippi. And visit Mississippi.org. Oh, yeah. Check it out. Plan a road trip. We're going to celebrate that today because the man that was rolling with Visit Mississippi.org, who I got to spend a lot of time with while being the music and culture ambassador before he decided to step away. He's just a special guy. He spent 10 years as the attorney on the road for a 5-time Grammy-nominated group, was the director of operations for both Blackberry Records, Inc. and Grammy Award-winning Terminal Record Studios, and has also had many years of experience in bookings and event production. He's been associate producer, Recording Academy, endorsed Mississippi celebrates his Grammy legacy events, Mississippi Night at the L.A. Grammy Museum, which I was fortunate enough to play one night. He also is contributing author in the American Bar Association release book, Entertainment Law for the General Practitioner, and has been an adjunct professor of entertainment law with the Mississippi College School of Law. Additionally, my guest today has twice enjoyed the privilege to be on the voting committee for the Governor's Arts Award and serves on the board of directors for Grammy Museum Mississippi, Blues Foundation, and other cultural nonprofits. Very important to our hallowed ground we call Mississippi. He's also a veteran practicing entertainment attorney. We recently discussed his new book called Jacktown, USA. I cannot wait to dig into this, the Southern soul artists and deep Mississippi roots, crucial ties to the capital city of Jackson that basically changed the world of music. We're going to talk about that right now with my guest, my pal, author, Kamel King.
Hey, my friend.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
I love having you on.
Man, thank you so much. You know, I just love talking to you. I could sit and talk to you for hours and days.
I feel the same way. One of the great blessings, becoming friends with Craig Ray and you, just the team, Yvonne, everybody over there, Nell, the team over there, and now Rochelle at visitmississippi.org, watching you guys do what you do so elegantly and just with such passion and such belief in our Mississippi. Obviously, for you, Kamel, your background, entertainment law, music, everything to me has added up to the word arts when it comes to you understanding it and how to celebrate it and how to turn it into an economic impact. Where does that come from?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, I got to hug you back, buddy, because, Craig and the whole team and we all love you, have always loved you. You are the quintessential ambassador for Mississippi, music-wise, spreading the gospel of Mississippi, character-wise, business-wise, all the events that you put on. Hey, man, you are one of the pillars of this state. So, love you so much, man.
Thank you, buddy. That means the world. But this is going to be about you. I love you, and that makes me feel really good. It makes my day. But and I appreciate it. And I know that you were going to go there, and I love you for that because you're always the one wanting to give back, to give. But seriously,
Yeah.
take me to this desire that you have for lifting up the arts and then turning it into something very special for us all.
Oh man, a great question. I would say it started with my father, my parents. My mother was a school teacher for over 40 years, and the passion that I saw her give her children and generations of kids, and her belief in the children of Mississippi. And watching all of the passion she put in, and most certainly my father. He is from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and James Brown got him right out of school. He was the first electrical engineer of African American descent to have that degree and that training. And James Brown got him right out of school and had him to run his radio station in Augusta, Georgia. And he went right on the road so James Brown was like a father figure.
Wait, back up right now. Come on. Okay, I didn't know this is why we have to have this show so I can listen for a change. Wait a minute. So how does their relationship start? How does that happen?
It starts because my dad was always dancing, always a performer, a consummate performer. You know him. He's a firecracker.
Yeah.
And he had been a dancer with, if guys remember, a guy named Joe Tex back in the day. And then he decided to go to electrical engineering school and literally was the only black man, only black person in that whole program. And when he got the degree, there was a article that went out about him because he was the only one to have done that. And James Brown read it and literally flew his private jet to Baton Rouge and sat in my grandparents' living room and said, "If you give me your son, I'll treat him like my son on the road."
Wow.
And there it started.
Wow. So Augusta, how do you end up in Mississippi?
He ends up in Mississippi after a few years working for Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown gave him a long-term contract, and my dad, being young and ambitious and wild, he said, "Sir, I just can't do that." And he said, "Well, if you don't sign this, where are you going to go?" And my dad said he just reached out of his head and said, "I'll go to Mississippi." And James. And my dad was very radical at that point in his life, and Mr. Brown said, "They will kill you in Mississippi the way you are." And he bet my dad a sum of money that he wouldn't do it. And my dad literally moved to Jackson, not knowing anybody, and went on to start a Black Gold, which was a spinoff of American Bandstand and Soul Train that was number one in his time slot for 21 years. And James Brown literally came in town, did a concert, and paid my dad back for that bet and said, "You did it."
Wow.
You
Okay.
did it.
When he comes back, obviously he gets that side of things. How does he start a show like that? And how does it work? I mean, like you and I, we've started a lot of things in our lives trying to figure it out and try to be successful. But back then, did you ever talk to him about, okay, how did you make it happen? Not just dream it up, but how did you have the foresight to dot all your I's, cross your T's, and do everything to actually make it physically successful?
Yes, I've questioned my dad many times. He's my best friend, mentor, so I'm always mining for diamonds. And he had already been a concert promoter and had really gotten into that, learning the game from being on the road with Mr. Brown. So he was, he was bringing in New Edition and Michael Jackson tours and doing those type of things. And he said he just wanted to do his own show. And he literally told me he starved for a year trying to get sponsors for the show. WLBT gave him a chance and said, "But you got to get it paid for." And said he looked up one day, almost starving to death, at a Budweiser, I think, ad, and he said, "I'm going to go to Budweiser." And he hooked Budweiser right before he went completely broke. They became his sponsor for all 21 years. And once it got on TV, it was a freaking wildfire. And
21 years. You know what that tells me right there?
What's that?
How great of relationships did he build, and how dependable,
Yeah.
and how great and wonderful did he deliver for them to go that long? I mean, how good must he have been? And how good of a person, because you and I both know you're not working with somebody that long, especially on corporate America, with someone if they don't absolutely fall in love with each other.
1,000%.
Credit. Let's take a quick break. Kamel King, my guest. We're going to talk about Jacktown in a minute. This is the coolest book cover I've ever seen. Jacktown, USA, the capital city of American music, the nation's most dense population of Grammy winners and nominees. This is the coolest book cover. You got to check it out. It's out now. Kamel King, Superior Catfish, homegrown and produced right here in Mississippi, like my guest today, my dear friend Kamel King. And visit Mississippi.org. He knows what that's all about. Plan a road trip. I'm Steve Azar. We'll be right back.
Baby, you're my sunshine. Everybody needs a little sunshine. Yeah, you're my sunshine. 'Cause like the dawn, you push it all the way.
You can now watch SuperTalk Mississippi on your YouTube, Roku, and on Amazon Fire devices. Plus, you can now watch SuperTalk TV live on C Spire TV Channel 70. Just go to supertalk.fm/connect to find out more.
Hi, this is Mark Chapman.
I'm excited about getting to the skinny, but I could talk to today's guest, Kamel King, author now, Jacktown, USA, the new book, the capital city of American music. You got to check it out. The cover alone, I want to frame it and just put it like on the wall. It's the coolest cover. Also, this guest of mine, Kamel King, is the coolest guy, one I've ever met. Got nothing but a big old warm smile. When you see him, you just want to give him a hug. There's no handshakes allowed when I see him.
Right.
Superior Catfish, I know one thing. He could have it delivered to his house, and I'm sure Kamel could cook it up. Go to store.superiorcatfish.com, and you know what I'm talking about. And visit Mississippi.org. Kamel spent many years with Visit Mississippi. He understands the impact that it's made on the world, from the blues trail markers, the country trail markers, the freedom trails, the writers trail. The list goes on. And we were in Liverpool together, leaving one blues trail marker. Yeah. And we were in Jerry Lee Lewis's house one day, leaving a country music trail. And we got to experience some amazing feelings together about celebrating some of the best. All right, Kamel, let's start digging into this book. All right, first of all, has this been sitting and stewing with you for a long time like us songwriter types? Or is this something that you woke up and went, I need to do this?
It's been stewing, like you said, working with Visit Mississippi and all that, we have done together with the blues trail and the country music trail, and getting entrenched in those worlds, having worked in the gospel community, for many years, being an entertainment attorney, just like you, because I think we pump the same blood, where we are just staunch Mississippians. And we wave the flag, we plant the flag everywhere we go. We fight narratives that are not correct about Mississippi everywhere we go. We share our love stories everywhere we go. But the heartstring is our music. And just having been in the field all of these years, it was just a culmination of all these relationships that I've had with these artists as clients, or close personal friends, or booked them. And I've known pretty much all of them for a decade, 15 years, and they all needed their stories told.
Wow. It's funny that you talk about Jackson. So when people look at our new state song, which I'm so grateful for, of written, but it talks about the very last thing. Now, Jackson is some kind of centerpiece, and it says on a most celebrated table of hospitality. But my centerpiece in my mind when I was riding home and it hit me was all about what you're talking about in your book. The hospitality part came next, but that each line lives on its own in the song. It's very fragmented in my mind because I just want to throw Mississippi paint on the wall, all the beautiful things almost in general that celebrate a wide variety of everything. So that we are who we are. But I love the fact because in my mind, I was thinking of all of this in your book and how Jackson was this centerpiece and like the trunk of a tree and we were all these other cities was the branches and then the fruit that would come and bear. So in my mind, I love when I saw this book and I saw what you were doing, I was saying like, I was there in my head. And I love that because it lets me know that I wasn't wrong, so I love what you say. We sometimes have to defend our state. The beautiful way is you and I brought people in from all over. I just had how many hundreds of guests with our charity event, and people like Reggie Smith, who basically lived in the early baseball days, Green Book. The standing maybe back of the bus or different hotels until he was raised up in that where he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
But he tells me stories, and he can't wait to come here. He spends a week here. I got to come early. I got to see my friends, and I got to come fish. Got to go crappie fishing, and I got to do this. But so we can't get people to leave once they get here, and that's our bragging rights. You and me, we know that. Yep. Now let's talk about the beginning. When I start writing a song, right? Yep. It sort of takes it. It grabs me, and it sort of starts. The pen starts on its own. The melody, everything sort of to me. I'm going to it rather than trying to pull it to me. When you're starting to write a book, that's a lot. That's a lot of songs. So tell me about the process.
That's, again, a great question. I want to say where the real spark came. I just got married a couple of months ago, and so my fiance at the time, thank you.
Congratulations.
I'm a lucky man.
I love
my fiance at the time. I was actually her parents and my parents. We were all sitting down, and they were meeting each other for the first time, and so we had cooked a big old dinner and had them all over, and everybody's. And my parents got to talking about Ferris Street. And I mean, when I say my wife and I could have eased out of the room and nobody would have ever noticed us gone, the stories that they talked about Ferris Street and all of the businesses there and King Edward and how Lynch Street was and the record labels from then. And I mean, me and my wife, our jaws dropped. The food got cold. They were talking so long. And, that kind of just sparked the beginning of the book. Like you said, the beginning of a song or what the crux of the song is going to be. It was like we talk about Mississippi as the birthplace of America's music, and we talk about it on as far as regions. But Jackson, Mississippi could have rivaled any other music and entertainment city in history in the United States in its heyday. And it's a revival that is coming back to the city of Jackson.
Okay, let me quote something from you. The Grammy component is eye-opening. Mississippi far and away leads the country in the total number of Grammy Awards and nominations across all genres since the Recording Academy began presenting awards in 1959. Several of those artists featured in Jacktown, USA, have won the coveted award, some more than once. I mean, I just reading this when you sent this to me, I was like going, okay, I mean, BB, Muddy, Howlin'. Where'd the cover come from?
Just dealing with, I worked for the Frasconas.
Oh, there we go.
I worked for Mr. Mike Frascona and M3. And, when we all get together and they throw their, 2 cents in and, there's some geniuses and everybody at that law firm and Frascona Law Group are pure geniuses. So it was a collaborative thing. And when they decided to go with me to jump off the boat to help publish this and get this done, I mean, they threw all of the graphic people and videographers because, this book has several components in it. I don't want to jump ahead of what, how you're going to go, but it's more than just a book and it's more than just a compilation of biographies about artists. It is Jackson. It's about Mississippi, and the meat of it is literally about each artist, their life, and what makes them so rich, and what is the general a thread that is through all of their stories. When you read it, you'll see it's the same thread that made Mississippi artists catapult all over the world.
I just feel like so much of this book is you. You were meant to do it. Your history with your family and your dad, the legacy that's been left. And I think about your mom being a teacher. She was a mom to a lot of people. Great teachers like your mom take on a role that is for everyone.
1,000%. And I'm so glad you said that, because I revere my father so much, and because I followed someone in his footsteps, I talk about him a lot. But my mother has the exact same respect, if not more. And you're right. And no, I never felt that, because my mother never let it be felt. She's the type of woman that was up before the sun and would come home, did not miss a beat, did not miss keep making a stable home, us having nutritious meals, love, time with homework, time with projects. No, both my parents are super freaking heroes.
Wow.
So no, she's a superhero. And I would go to bed watching her cut out things out of laminate that she would go to school aids and laminate 3 hours after work, and cut it out for the next day. And her room was her universe. She would walk in her room and she would have it decorated for every season, every program that they were doing and curriculum. She had it down. She's a master.
Superior Catfish allows me to have this conversation with Kamel King. Thank you guys there in Macon, Mississippi, and visit Mississippi.org. Kamel knows it very well. He spent a lot of years with him and with me, teaching me the ropes. I'm blessed to have known such a great man. And finally, author. Well,
yeah, entertainment law for the general practitioner.
Jacktown, USA. Kamel King. Check it out. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Mississippi. I'm still trying to find my way. Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Homebuyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time homebuyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now. From in a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
I could talk to today's guest for a Mississippi year. I could. Right now, I could just go and be forever a better man, raised by an incredible mom and dad, one in the business, his dad, two, his mother that had enough heart and love and nurturing power to not only raise him and his siblings in such an incredible way, but also every student she ever touched. That's a lot of love and a lot of nurturing. So kudos to his mom and dad, Kamel King's mom and dad, author now of Jacktown, USA. What a book. What a cover. What a celebration of not only our capital city, but Mississippi and all these artists who changed the world, inspired the world, inspired me. I got no shot at this without these artists that he celebrates. And I'm so grateful to be born and raised in Mississippi. Superior Catfish is born and raised in Mississippi. There's Catfish. There's Superior Catfish. Head on over to superiorcatfish.com. Visit Mississippi.org. Plan a road trip. Jump on a Blues Trail marker, and you will end up in Liverpool. But we'll make sure you get back. All right. Kamel, let's talk about some of the individual aspects of the book that, to me, you had to put in there. Like,
Yeah.
do you want to talk about some of the guys some of the artists that you chose to sort of lift up, or how do you want to go about this?
Yeah, sure,
I want you to
sure. I
lead the
mean,
way.
yeah, I mean, it's just chock full of rich stories and rich artists. For an example, Dexter Allen. I mean, another Mississippi ambassador to the fullest. One of the best guitarists and artists you could ever see. Grammy Award winner. He recorded and engineered Bobby Rush's last Grammy Award winning album. The man is one of the best performers and best businessmen you could ever come across. But what is like I say, a common thread. Grew up in the church. Grandparents had a juke joint. Just the rich history. Zach Harmon, who, if you don't know Zach Harmon, if you go back to the late '80s and early '90s, when music started taking a turn and blending, kind of when hip hop was just getting started with R&B, a term called New Jack City, that was with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. It was a brand new sound. They were doing Janet Jackson. They were, this guy was on the foot of that. He was a part of it. Right off of Fair Street, his father was the first black pharmacist in Mississippi, had a pharmacy on Fair Street that was one of the most booming businesses. And this guy was one of the pillar of the community. And he started music very early and then went out to LA in the '80s with his father's support. And I mean, he hit the ground running as a studio musician, producer, started writing songs for literally everybody. And he just blew up. And at a certain point in the time, as a writer and producer, then he switched to blues, and he's given himself to blues since then. He's a Grammy Award nominee. So this guy was on the baseline of music changing in the '80s and '90s when hip hop was just ushering in and it was blending with R&B. So these guys are just, their stories are so rich. You take somebody for Washington, which are the younger group out of everybody that is in the book. Most of the artists are blues or have some type of blues or Southern soul influence. For Washington is all the way on the other side of the spectrum. These kids are two brothers and two sisters, all four of them from the same mother and wonderful mother and father. They grew up in the church singing. You have never heard angels harmonize like these kids do. And they have gone viral many, many times with millions of followers. Rihanna has hit them up. They've done covers for her. They've done many different corporate commercials. I mean, it just goes on and on. It's so many artists in here that have a history that just shows Mississippi is the absolute top tier when it comes to music.
I have a great story. You already know it, but let's talk. Malaco Records, obviously part of this book, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so my Malaco record story is James Stroud and I were working together on a project. It took 10 years for me to actually get to say hello to him. And I made the joke to him. I said, what took two Mississippi guys that long? But we were working on something, and he was telling me the story about Anita Ward. He said, listen, we were broke. It was over. He was the drummer, producer, in the studio. And he goes, we were going for one last shot. It was not good. We were writing bad checks. I mean, I don't know how much all that true. Maybe he's adding to the story, but he made it sound pretty desperate, right? And he goes, they took it to, I think, Atlanta, and they were playing it, and the nobody heard the A side, but whoever flipped it over, I think maybe Atlanta, and they heard "Ring My Bell," and they go, "Hey, this is your single," and the rest is history. You have to. It's almost like you have to go to the very bottom of the barrel when things look as all in our business, right, Kamel?
Yeah.
This is when it's all over, and then all of a sudden you just get to that little corner and you turn it, and then the light is there.
Yes.
And it's so amazing. But the story there, how much of Malaco did you delve into?
Malaco is definitely in there. And I mean, you couldn't tell the story of Mississippi music without talking about Malaco and all that they've done in the blues, in the Southern soul, in the gospel industry. They've even touched on, hip hop and other genres. But I mean, their distribution system, their studio, they've been around for a very long time. And a lot of artists have to give credit to Malaco that they were the trampoline that put them in the spotlight. So yeah, Tommy Couch Sr., Tommy Couch Jr., Wolf, I mean, everybody over there has done an amazing job of making sure that Mississippi artists were distributed throughout the country and throughout the world.
Talking to Camille King, author, the book Jacktown, USA is out. Hey, Camille, how can folks get this book?
You can get it on Amazon. Definitely go to Amazon. You can. I would suggest that you come to Lemuria June 26th for the book signing. We're going to be 6 to 9. Yep. So all the artists who are in the book are going to be there signing the book. It's going to be live music. We're going to have catering and food.
Of course, it is
libations, and it's going to be a fun time. We're going to rock out Lemuria, and you need to come see it. It's going to be a movie.
What's the date again?
June 26th, next Thursday.
Next Thursday, June 26th. And this is open to the public?
Open to the public, 6 to 9, free. We just want you to come. Make sure that you pick up a book and make sure that you get myself and the co-author Joe Lee, as well as all of the artists will be there. So you're talking about Grammy Award winners are going to be there. You're talking about Eddie Cotton is going to be there, who is lightning in a bottle. Oh, don't get me started. Right.
Oh my! You know, you grow up right there. I grew up in the Delta around. You and I both grew up in similar circumstances. You know, my dad, his dad had 5 movie theaters in the 40s. All single screen down here. My dad fell in love with the music industry, and obviously he opened up the first legal liquor store in Mississippi. But I'm trying to figure out how we were so blessed to be chosen to be around this and to make our lives, you and me, getting the opportunity to just continue this tradition and be a part of the fabric of something so dang important. Yeah. I mean, it's a heavy load at times, but it's the most beautiful thing that I've ever could imagine my life being. Could you imagine yourself doing anything else and being happy?
I couldn't. I could not. And, you know, I haven't tried to do much. I don't practice any other kind of law. I mean, if you want me to do your divorce or a criminal case, you will not get divorced and you will be in prison. If you want me to do your real estate law, you will lose your real estate because all I do is entertainment law. Well, yeah, I mean, I've grown my roots deep, and I won't lie, like I haven't thought about or tried to leave Mississippi, but God has kept me here.
There you go.
And I'm so thankful for it because, you know, Steve, you've traveled the world 50 times, but, you know, when you come back, you always are glad that you are back home in Mississippi.
Well, we're glad you're in Mississippi. I'm glad I came home to Mississippi to meet folks like you. It's made a big difference in my career, I can tell you. Superior Catfish, waiting for you to order it. Go to superiorcatfish.com, store.superiorcatfish.com, comes to your house, and visit Mississippi.org. Camille King and I spent a lot of time working together, and that's how we got to love each other and understand Mississippi even further along. We'll be right back.
Can hope for is that someday I'll be free. Somewhere in this loneliness I'll find me. I'll find me. I'll find. There ain't no street in this town.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
If you're feeling anxious,
like every alley and left turn in my home.
Have a short segment left with the author, Mel King, Jacktown, USA. You know, I don't know if I've ever heard it called Jacktown. I love that. That's cool. And I know that Kamel King, the author, along with Joel, you wrote this, Kamel, with Joe Lee, right?
Yeah. Yes.
How did this whole co-writing thing? I hadn't been able to co-write with anybody since I moved back home, and I've been really happy about that. But I love my co-writers that really worked well with me over the years in Nashville. So it's been a long time since I've done that. I have been working with some acts and stuff that I've co-written some stuff. I'm trying to stay out of the way and be more of a developer, and help them be able to do it alone. But for you and collaborating with Joe, how'd it go?
Oh, excellent. Listen, I've known Joe for a long time. Joe Lee, I could not have done this without Joe Lee. Let me make sure I make that real clear. I could not have written this book without Joe Lee. Joe has had a business called Dogwood Press for a very long time. He has helped a lot of authors write their books. People like me who are first-time authors all the way to seasoned authors. And it's magical. He's worked with our firm on a lot of other books in our publishing company, Republic Books. So, you know, Joe is part of our family. It was very easy. He's a professional to the highest degree.
I love it. All right, we got to dig a little bit more into Eddie Cotton.
Got to.
Because to me, Eddie Cotton reminds me of, I had Eugene Powell. When you walk in my door here, Kamel, the first thing you see is Eugene, Sonny Boy Nelson. He was behind my dad's liquor store when I fell in love with music. He was always so nice to me. And I used to wear him right here, always around my neck for many, many years until it just dissolved, the stone that I had that was made and given to me. For Eddie Cotton, to me, reminds me of Eugene in a lot of ways. Why Eddie Cotton for you?
Why not? And I wouldn't have done the book without including Mr. Cotton. Eddie and I have been friends a long time. Eddie's an alien. He's not even from this planet. And when I say that, I mean that in a good way. Music-wise, vision-wise, attitude-wise, the guy is a true blues man, and he is birthed out of the Kojic Church. And I mean, if you know the Kojic Church, it has produced some of the best musicians ever known to man. His father was a Kojic pastor, so he came up in the church playing for the churches. He still is over his father's church, who has passed on. He plays for different churches, so he never lost that root. But when I say this man is a master of ceremonies, he controls a crowd like nobody's business, and I tell him all the time, it's a gift. It's a gift from God, because he can wave his finger and the entire audience. I've seen a couple hundred to 10,000 do what he said to do. And you just got to see him, you know? And I mean, so all of the performers and musicians who are part of it, Chad Wesley, who is, a blues rock guy.
So good.
So good.
Good.
I mean, he waves that freaking axe around like nobody's business. Rashad, the blues kid who is blowing up and just placed second at the IBC in Memphis. Man, they're just awesome, man.
Let's talk about where you're saying you're going from one generation to a middle generation to another generation, almost to another generation. We're talking a lot of decades of spanning blues musicians. We obviously have Kingfish now. Chris Stone. We've got Cedric. There's so many great blues artists that are out there. Do you think that we're going to run out?
No time soon. They've got a 16-year-old phenom that's touring all over the world. His name forgets me now, but no, it's not going anywhere. And like you said, and what's so, you can even go back another generation. You take somebody like King Edward, because everybody knows, Bobby Rush, B.B. King, all of those names. But you got Guitar Robinson from Jackson. You got, Bobby Rush, who is homegrown here. Johnny Taylor, Little Milton. You take King Edward. King Edward trained the Zach Harmon trained Eddie Cotton. Eddie Cotton is now putting his arm around Rashad the Blues Kid, so
Yeah. So
it's a mentorship.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask before we go one more time the date of your book launch at Lemure.
Yes, Lemuria Books in Jackson, Mississippi, the biggest independent bookstore in the country.
We love those people.
Love
Great
them.
folks.
Love John Evans. Read books, y'all. Come by June 26th, 6 until 9 p.m. You will have all the artists who are featured in this book there to sign the book. The artists there, live music. They will be performing food, libations. It is going to be something you do not want to miss. It's not just a book signing. It's an event. It's a concert. It's a revelation.
Love it. Kamel King, my guest, author, Jacktown, USA, with Joe Lee. You guys make plans to be there in Jackson. If I'm not doing anything that first of all, I won't be doing anything as important as that. So, but I may be stuck doing a gig. If not, I'm there, and Gwen and I are there. Please, guys, check out the book. Superior Catfish allows me to have conversations with such greats as Kamel King, such a beautiful man, and visit Mississippi.org. Man, come on. This is what Visit Mississippi.org is all about.
That's right. Love them. Love you. And tell Gwen, love her too.
I love you, brother. God bless you.
God bless you.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.